Yo, what's up guys? It's Coach Morley. We're here for another episode of Sit Down with Coach. We've upgraded a little bit in terms of tech, so we're playing around. We've moved it outside, get it out on the court, and yeah. So today we've got elite athlete Theron Pinker down with us today. We're going to get a workout in later this afternoon. Theron's an athlete of mine that I've known for about 2 years now, going on 3 years actually. A lot of training. He had a big injury 18 months ago.
Yep.
And some surgery, and then we've gone through a rehab process of that. So we're going to get into some of that and a bit of the background. But what's up, bro? Thanks for coming through.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. So you don't actually live in Perth right now. You're just here visiting.
Yeah, so I'm actually living in Brisbane right now, in Queensland, with me and my wife and my little baby girl.
Nice.
So we're just over here, seeing family, catching up,
Yes,
living the dream.
Getting out over.
Yeah.
It's good, man. How's little one?
She's 5.5 months, man.
5.5. Real little.
Real little.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everything's about to get interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's already getting interesting,
It's already
for sure, man.
interesting.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely.
Appreciate it, man. That's good. All love. So you grew up playing ball in Perth and around the city.
Yep.
I want to touch a little bit on your kind of progression through the junior years.
Yeah.
You played in Wobble.
Yep. Played Wobble over here.
Bit of that.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. When did you get into basketball?
Yeah, so I was ever since I was a little baby.
Yeah.
I was a toddler. It's just something that I just loved. For Christmas every year, I'd get a new little plastic backboard from my mum and dad. From there on, it just kept on growing, and when I got to about 5 years old, my dad and my mum took me to this thing at Eltone Park. It was called Mini Ball.
Okay.
And loved it. I was pretty lucky there. I had one of the coaches there was just like, you should start playing. So I started playing when I was about 7 at little social domestic leagues on a Saturday morning. And I was a bit of a late bloomer. I didn't start playing Wobble until I was about 14 or so.
Okay.
So from the young age, my dad was my coach. So every day, I was pretty blessed with him. He didn't push me too hard. When I was a kid, it was all on my own terms. You know, If I wanted to shoot, I wanted to shoot. If I wanted to go train, Dad would train me. I think when I got to about 12 years old, it was when sort of time was taking over. You know, You have trainings every day. And my dad was just like, do you want me to push you, or do you want me to, do it? And I said, push me, And so it happened from there. I was pretty lucky. He was my coach until about 14. This first Wobble, I played for the Perry Lakes Hawks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so played there for a couple of years, couple of seasons. Had a lot of ups and had a lot of downs there. And so then around about 2011, my dad passed away. So that was a big hit.
Yeah.
Had to do a bit of soul searching, I guess, with basketball, because I always saw basketball as as a coping mechanism for life. I never really was the most confident person outside of basketball.
Yeah.
Never really had an identity out of basketball. And when my dad went, that was my coach, and every time I picked up a ball, it sort of
those memories came
back, and I just got a bit overwhelmed with life. So I stepped back for a couple of weeks, couple months actually. So I didn't play for a year. I actually tried playing American football for a bit. That didn't go too well. I was too skinny and scrawny for that. And then came back, and then I realized, it's if I wasn't going to come back to it, it's something that I would never go back to. And then I just remembered all the times that me and my dad and my mum and dad sacrificed so much for me. Not just money, but a lot of time and effort. So it's not only what I do for myself, but it's something that I do for my family too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. It's interesting how you say that you had to take that little bit of a break. Like, even though basketball was that coping mechanism for you, it was also that bonding time with Dad as well. That, I'm guessing it, like, I know you and I know your work ethic, and that's obviously where it's come from, the fact that he didn't push you hard. It wasn't, the drive wasn't from that external, it was internal drive from you, and it's like, if you want to go, then let's go.
Yeah,
But if you want to chill, then chill.
Yeah, definitely.
but it sort of puts that ownership on you, and that I think that's paid dividends for you as you've grown up as well. So
yeah, definitely.
Big up to Pops for installing that in you.
There was a lot of times when I hated my dad and I loved my dad. I remember when I was, I think I was about 14 or so when I first started playing wobble, and I was starting to feel myself. You know, I got a bit cocky and everything. And me and my dad out front in our driveway, we used to have these big one-on-ones, and I could never beat him.
Yeah.
He just played bully ball on me. And you know, the way I grew up was if you get hit, you get back up and keep going, sort of thing. And there was this one day where I beat him, and I let him know about it. You know, I let him know. I was like, "You need to call me Dad from now on." And he did not like that, and it started getting real heated. And then I remember Mum coming out. Mum's just like, well, "What the heck are you two talking about? Respect your dad and respect your son." You know, it was just funny.
I just beat his ass.
Yeah, I know.
It's my turn to talk some trash.
Yeah, I let him know after all these years.
Love that.
Yeah, and I love him so much, and I miss him every day. But you know, I got nothing but love and gratitude for him and for my mum. My mum was as big a part of it too. You know, she was there. She was the one that drove me everywhere. Drove me to school, drove me everywhere I could think about. And
Shout out to all the taxi driver moms.
I know, and she was also my biggest fan too. You know, I remember there was times where if I did something good, she would be the first person to congratulate me, and if there was something I did bad, she'd let me know about it.
Oh yeah, holding you accountable.
Honest feedback too. And
it's always good.
Love her for that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you spent a season or two at Perry Lakes. So that's what gets us to about under 16s.
Yeah, under 16s.
Where'd you go after Perry Lakes?
After Perry Lakes, I went to the Wanneroo Wolves. So I went to school in Woodvale. Shout out Woodvale. So all my friends, you know, all played for Woodvale. I had a bit of a falling out with one of my coaches over there.
Okay.
It was a bit of a soft spot for me. It was one of the times where I thought about giving up basketball. I had a coach tell me that I was way too small, way too little, couldn't do anything. And I just ruined my confidence. So that was tough, and so I had to think, do I want to keep going at this club that I was trying to be loyal to, or do I go somewhere else? Because I thought I was loyal, but I didn't think the coaches were loyal to me. And so I sort of took that as a challenge to go to a different club and show them that I'm definitely not a small little kid that can't score a bucket, you know, can't defend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Woodvale, went to Wanneroo, sorry I should say, the Wanneroo Wolves, and that was a good year for me. So I think that was my first year playing under 18s, because I went up to under 18s and played under 18s with a couple of my boys there, and we went 18-0.
Woo.
Yeah, so won the championship against Perry Lakes, which was good. So it was a nice little.
There's not a better feeling than that.
Oh man, I remember letting my coach know about that, the other coach.
Knowing how much you talk on the court.
Yeah. I was letting him know, that's for sure. That was sort of my time to realize that, you know, I shouldn't listen to anyone that's doubting me. The only voice that I should listen to is in my head. So that was fun. That was real fun.
Yeah, they're interesting moments. Like they're key sink or swim moments.
Definitely.
Fight or flight.
Definitely.
Like that coach, and unfortunately it happens a lot with a lot of players at about that kind of 15, 16 kind of age group.
Definitely.
They'll get told something that just takes them aback, like, okay, but sometimes it's something real. Like, if you're serious about this, you've got to put that work in.
Definitely.
But if you're not going to put that work in, well, you're not as good as you think you are.
Yeah,
when someone presents that real talk moment, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
You took it, put it in the bank as fuel.
Yeah.
And went and balled out the next season. And that's the way one of the best ways to handle that is don't take that brick wall as the stopping point.
Definitely.
Take back, reflect, and find a way around it, and keep evolving from that.
There was a point in time where I was obsessed with what he said to me. He told me that I was too small, which I was like, "This kid's smaller than me. Why are you saying that to me?" And then when he said that I couldn't score, I couldn't shoot, and you know, for me that was the biggest insult. You know, I was averaging the most on that team points wise. So I thought to myself, he must be lying to himself.
And it's a coach on your team, right?
Yeah, this is my team. So, you know, I took that as fuel, and I remember at school I used to write on the back of my book every day was, "You're too small, you're too little."
Yeah.
And that just fueled me, you know, every day. So yeah, you know, I guess there's some people, as you were saying, it's either fight or flight, and I chose to fight that.
Hell yeah.
And I'm pretty glad that I did.
And and on every pathway to be successful, there's lots and lots of those moments.
Definitely.
And it's whether anybody can become successful, everybody can achieve that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's how you handle those moments.
Yeah.
Is it going to kick you back, put you on your ass, or are you going to keep moving forward, find a different way, solve the problem, and keep going? So under 18s at the Wolves.
Yeah, so I played Wolves for a bit. And then after that, after high school, I decided to go play under 20s at East Perth Eagles.
Okay, yep.
So my cousin Joel in Tupaya, he played for Perry Lakes. That's the reason why I went over to Perry Lakes, because I sort of wanted to follow his steps and be in the family. And then he started playing over at East Perth, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that. And East Perth was closer to me, and I had an amazing coach over there, Steve Williams. He brought me over there, and he really shot up my confidence over there.
Nice.
So no, it was really good over there. We had another year. We ended up losing in the semi-final, which wasn't, great, but it was another year.
To the team that won, or to the team that lost?
To the team we lost to. Yeah, it was a bit rough, but it is what it is. We just didn't play our own way. We let outside factors get in our head.
Yeah.
Can't do much about that though. But we all played as hard as we could. It was good. Yeah.
As long as you put it out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you live with the result as long as you've given it your best shot.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sort of on that lines that, like, if I lose and I tried everything I've done, then that is what it is. I can't hold anything back to it. If I held back while I was doing what I was doing, that's a different story, because then you have to live with regret. So that was my last year in juniors. I took about a year or so off, just soul searching. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was at that time where I wanted to take a break, live life a little bit.
At that age.
Yeah, and at that age, and then that sort of leads me on to go and play in SPL and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you played a couple. How many seasons did you play of SPL?
I played 2.
2 seasons
of
SPL,
seasons.
Both of the Suns?
Both of the Suns.
Both of the Suns, nice. The Suns seem to have this thing for little shooting guards.
Yeah.
There's a few of you coming through that SPL team, now NBL 1 team.
No, it was good. It was pretty funny the way that I came across the Eastern Suns.
Yeah.
There was this league called the Super 6 that we used to play at Guildford. I wasn't really playing basketball at the time, but I was playing with the Binar boys. I had a couple of friends over there that were playing, and they asked me to fill in.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll play. So I started playing there, and it was one of my games where I think I had something like 30 or something, and Coach Clark was there.
Okay,
he was the head coach of the Calamont Eastern Suns, and I'll never forget it. I went to Alfred's, Alfred's Kitchen. In Guildford, the big trucker stop, burger stop. So I was there, and I had pea and ham soup in one hand, and I had my steak sandwich in the other hand, just double fisting.
Yeah.
And he came up to me, and he's just like, "Oh, hi, I'm Michael Clark. It's nice to meet you." I was like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you, coach," and sort of gave him the awkward fist bump with food in my hand. And he's like, "I'd like you to come down and play for us." And I was like, "Oh, are you sure?" I'm a bit rusty. And so I was very blessed for that opportunity. That really brought back the fire in me. Mm-hmm. First game was against East Perth, against my cousin. That was fun. That was really, really fun. A lot of hip and shoulders here and there, a bit of physical, but I loved it.
Physical.
Loved it. And I think I was the last person off the bench. I wasn't expecting to play much. I thought I was just going to do my role. I had a pretty good game. So the next couple of games I just got started. So they started me at the 4.
Way to come in and make an impact.
Yeah, way to make an impact.
Started you at the 4, sorry.
Yeah, so the way that we ran really small and fast.
Okay, yeah.
So the 4 for our team was at the top left wing. So right at the tram lines.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of mismatches at the top with a lot of speed.
Definitely.
But getting back on defense, that was hard.
So you were playing like a trail 4 catch and shoot.
Yeah, that was my role. Coach Clark, he wanted me in there to shoot the ball. That was my job, and if I didn't shoot the ball, he let me know.
Hitting you for that trail 3 in transition. Hell yeah.
100%. That was
that's your shot right there.
That was my shot right there.
Nah, nice. Man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. How was playing in the SPL? So like this year, the SPL's managed to create this merger with the NBL 1, and which should elevate the level of it
definitely
entirely in the professionalism of it. But what was your experience like with the league, with the level of competition?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was really good for me. I was used to playing juniors or social league men's, so there was little things, little nuances of the game that you didn't really got a feel for until you started playing SBL.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was a lot more accountability. You know, if you got beat on defense, it wasn't like, oh, it's my bad. You know, you had 4 other people on your back and the coach, which was good. You know, you need that sense of accountability. It was also a lot faster. That was one thing that I struggled with the most. It was how up and down the pace was, because I was used to very much slowing down, set the offense up.
Yeah.
But Clarkie, we played havoc, so it was just all the time, push the ball up, and the best shot is the first shot, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and if it was a bit, like, you had to make sure that it was the best looking shot too. And then it was full court pressure for 48 minutes, which was fun. It had its ups and downs.
Tiring as hell.
Very tiring. So that was really a big thing that I struggled with, was how fast the tempo was, and also how physical it was.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to going through the keyway on a cut and just getting smashed, you know, bumping the cutter.
Proper bumping the cutters, yeah.
And, you know, versing a lot of imports. We had a lot of guys that came through that was playing for us. We had our imports were CB, so Courtney Belger. He's one of my man. He's my man. He was a constant professional. I learned a lot from him, and Rob Battenberg. So he played at VCU, and he was the man too. So, you know, you had a lot of these high caliber imports coming in, and matching up with them every day, every time at practice was hard. You know, it was something that, you know, you got your ass busted.
Yeah, welcome to the furnace.
Exactly. Then I remember playing against a lot of NBL players. So we had, you know, we versed Sean Redditch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was a machine. We had a lot of other players like Carl Armour, Damien Scott, just guys that were just ballers that, you know, were built like athletes, but also played like hoopers, you know. So it was hard.
I've been, like, that biggest step is the difference between just playing kids your age to now playing against grown men, some of them who could be, if you're coming out of that under 20s, some of those players are 10 years older than you.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, they're grown men, so that difference, like, a lot of players struggle with how physical the game gets, and it's not that it's fouls, it's not out of the rules of basketball, it's just grown men taking up space.
Yeah.
You're going to get bumps, you're going to get hits. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, you have a lot of the veterans, you know, the ones that have been around the league for a while, that have their little tricks, you know, that have that ability to push off you, but making it look like it was all
they
good.
Understand, you know, positioning of referees and all the
referees. You know, referees are different too. You know, there'll be times where you drive to the hole and, you know, you get hit, and maybe in a juniors game you get that call, but you're not going to get that anymore.
Nope.
There were many times where I went to the hole expecting I was going to get a foul and just got laid out. And, you know,
play on,
get up and go back, and, you know, you're like, oh, I'm hurt, but then you got to run back on defense.
Yeah, got the next play.
Yeah, and because you got a lot more people watching you too. That's the thing. So you got to make sure that you're mentally switched on in the game and not getting affected by the outside of the fans and the others.
And that crowd's going to react to your body language as well. So
yeah, definitely.
Your negative body language on the court is something you have to be conscious of.
Yeah, the toughest place that I ever played at was in Kalgoorlie.
I've heard it's tough out there.
Yeah, it's tough out there, man. They love their basketball and they love their team. So I think that was the first time actually going into a stadium and getting booed.
Oh, wow.
That was the first time I ever experienced being booed, and I remember people calling out my number.
Oh.
And I used to have my top knot back then, so, you know, I had a lot of jokes at my expense.
Yep.
But, you know, it's just something else, because we had a pretty tough crowd up our end too.
Yeah.
So, you know, people got it back. They loved it up there.
Yeah, the fan base up in Kalamunda is pretty nice.
Yeah, man, I love that place. You know, I love Ray Owen. That court is beautiful.
Yeah.
Shooters rings.
Yeah.
The crowd's nice and loud too.
Nice, good, man. So, after all of that happened, you got there. You went through probably a couple of years really of just like one thing after the other, setback wise. Like
definitely.
Little injuries, then leading up to ACL surgery and bigger injuries. I don't want to dwell too much on those injuries and stuff, but I just want to one thing that's inspired me, one of the reasons I wanted to get you to come through, is I've been fortunate enough to be part of your rehab process. Not in terms of rebuilding that knee, but in terms of getting you back to being able to play.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was inspiring was the attention to the detail you would put into our workouts.
Yeah.
So I just want to cover a few different things about it. So you had ACL surgery on your left?
Right knee.
Right knee.
Yeah.
What was that? When was that?
I had the surgery on May the 1st.
May the 1st.
Yeah, so that was
2018, right?
Yeah.
19. 2019. Yeah, it's 21 now.
Yeah.
It all just goes by so fast, man. That's crazy. So yeah, you were. How long did it take you to get back till we were back on the court? Like just going through form shooting and some ball handling.
Oh man, like as soon as I got my splint off, I hit you up. So I think that was about 2-3 months.
Yeah.
2-3 months after it. So
as soon as you were allowed to like get a little bit of motion and some movement.
Yeah, as soon as my surgeon gave me the all clear to start standing up and learning to walk again, I was in there.
Back in the gym.
Yeah.
What drove that? Like a big injury and surgery like that is tough. Not obviously the physical side of it is tough, but the mental side of it, for an athlete, being told you can't do anything, you got to sit down and do nothing. That in itself is tough. So like that first 3 months, you're not able to do anything. What was that experience like?
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. It was probably one of the toughest times in my life. I became so dependent on other people. And you go from being an athlete, being able to run and walk and jump and everything. You take everything for granted. But yeah, that whole time when I couldn't walk, I think the first time ever was when I got home and I had to get my mum and my wife to actually try and lift me up because I couldn't get up there myself. So that was I think I saw it more as like basketball's a privilege.
Yeah, indeed.
And so I've been taking advantage of that privilege for ages, and so when that was taken away from me, I kind of realized that I need to take this more seriously. I need to not only respect the game, but also respect the opportunities that I've been given. So not only taking advantage of the opportunities, but also taking advantage of the situation. It was a time for me to start becoming more mentally tough.
Yeah.
And just making sure that I just never gave up.
Also, like, helps reconfirm that you love the sport and you love playing.
Definitely.
And you take that away, it's like taking away part of you.
Yeah, exactly. I remember with my wife, I used to cry to her at night and I was just like, what am I? I just didn't know who I was. And so it was good in the sense that like it enabled me to actually figure out who I am outside of basketball too. There's many times where I've been given the opportunity to play basketball. Yeah. But that gave me an opportunity to be with my wife, be with my family, be with my friends more, be more present at home, which was a blessing.
I know that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So no, it was good. As much as I never wanted to happen, it's something that really gave me a different perspective on life.
Yeah, seems like it was a very humbling experience for you.
Definitely was.
Grounding.
But no, like as you said, you were one of the first people that I reached out to, and you were there the whole process when I was back on court. Getting up thousands of shots, rebounding.
I was basically a rebounding machine.
Yeah, hard out.
It's like Spider-Man over there.
Yeah,
good.
It was good.
Nah, man, it's interesting that a lot of everything we've talked about so far keeps coming back to the mindset of everything.
Yeah.
Nothing so much has been about your ability as a player in terms of your ball handling, your athletic ability, your shooting, sniping, we should call it now. It all comes back to that frame of mind and how you're using all these different obstacles in the way to help move you forwards and
definitely
help shape you as you continue to grow.
Yeah.
So we went through the rehab. A lot of it, we spent a lot of time just paying attention to the little details.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that was really important in terms of your recovery for now being back on the court.
Definitely.
What were a couple of the kind of key things that made a difference in terms of like the little details for your mechanics or your ball handling or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing that really helped me out the most was my footwork for when I was shooting. We spent so much time figuring out whether if I'm going to step in with my left or my right, or if I'm just going to hop into it. And spending so much time on just those little details. I remember you picking me up on a lot of things with my left foot going forward a bit more because my right leg just didn't, I just wasn't confident on that. So building back up that confidence and thinking about not having to shoot, not having to think about my footwork anymore. I think that was the biggest thing because, going over and playing at a high level, you've only got not even half a second to get a shot off, and it has to be a good shot.
Yeah.
And you know, I definitely sensed that difference once I was getting more comfortable with my shooting. Is that okay? I don't even need to look at it anymore. I just need to make sure I catch it, and that as long as I got that step in, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of it comes down to, like, especially coming back off of injury.
Yeah.
Once you get the all clear from the doctor and that, it's still going to take you time to trust.
Yeah.
In the, okay, my knee's good.
Yeah.
Even when we're just going through basic movements, at first there's a bit of pain, not pain, there's a bit of an ache.
Yeah.
I don't like to use pain because when it gets painful we stop, but there's that little bit of ache.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a nag in it, so you compensate. And what quite often happens is we've just come back off of that right knee, now we trash up that left knee because we're putting too much force through it. So with you especially, because of you rely on that change of direction and that first step quickness and that bounce for your shot so much, it was really important to get you confident quickly and comfortable quickly.
Definitely.
Back on that balance of that footwork.
Yeah.
Which was good. But then me picking it's one thing, you actually had the mental capacity to focus on it whilst we're shooting without trashing the rest of your shot.
Yeah.
And now I feel like that's always something important once you become a good shooter.
Yeah.
That step to that next level is all in those tiny details.
Yeah, definitely. If you focus, see, shooting to me is an art form. You know, you've got many different little, little things that make the jump shot what it is.
Yeah.
And when you get to the point where you can actually pinpoint those little things and be able to make tweaks on that, you know, you're going to be fantastic. You know, there's going to be times when you're going to be gassed out from training beforehand and you want to get some shots up, or you might be sore from a double header.
Yeah.
You know, there's little things that you need to make changes to in order to, you know, make sure that your shot's feeling good. And you've got to perform, you know.
Yeah.
So, it is.
And one of the biggest things, like, I found was allowed your ability to make those kind of shifts and changes is just how, for use of a better word, mechanical your shot is in terms of that motion your arm goes through, your gap from gather to shot pocket to release is so consistent and just the same every time that when your legs get fatigued in the fourth quarter of the game, you automatically know, okay, I just got to give it a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
I need a little bit more than I'd normally be shooting with in the first half of the game. I just need a little bit more oomph in it just to get it over the front of that rim.
Definitely.
But you're a good enough shooter and you've just got enough freaking shots up that you're able to make those adjustments on the fly.
I've gotten to the point now when I'm shooting is as long as I stay consistent with my jump shot and if it feels good, you know, consistency is the key.
Yeah.
If you get times where you go 0 of 12 in the first half, or if you know, for a game, you know, it's when you start making those tweaks then, you know, you don't want to overcompensate. You don't want to make sure that, like, okay, my arm's too far in or my elbow's too far out, or I'm not flicking it off the right fingers, you know. Because then you start playing with your head, you know. Shooting's 10% physical and 10% mental, you know.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah,
being able to stay locked in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's great. So we got through that rehab, and then your wife got offered an amazing opportunity.
Definitely,
to go back over to Brisbane, where her family is.
Yep, definitely.
For a night with work.
Yep.
You went over as well.
Yeah.
What went on with basketball? How did you find the scene moving over to Brisbane and getting involved over there?
Yeah, so I think that was one of the big daunting things for me moving over there, was that I didn't really have a club affiliation. You know, I was a new person in a big pond, you know, big sea. So I was pretty lucky to be linked up with two people that I really have a lot of respect and love for over in Brisbane. The first one was Andy Stephen.
Yep.
He's one of my best mates over there. I met him playing at a social league over here when he was working FIFO.
Oh, okay.
And he's amazing. Me and him, we get along quite well. He's one of those guys that when we go and get shots up, I think he's honestly one of the best shooters I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
He outshoots me.
Nice.
So he played over in Scotland.
In Scotland?
Yeah, so he's Scottish. Nice. And man, that guy can shoot it. So, you know, it's always good. And he lets me know too.
Oh,
I know if Andy sees this, he'll be letting me know that he's a man. So, you know, he was really competitive in that sense. and he made me real accountable for what I was doing, because he understood that, you know, we have to be as good as each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love him. And another man was Jeremy Kendall. So he came off an ACL reconstruction too.
Yeah.
And he was playing for the Brisbane Bullets at the time. And I hit him up when I was coming over. I was like, hey man, you know, I'm coming off the same injury. I've been playing at a high level. I just want to know if I can get in the gym with you and sort of learn from you. And you know, I learned so much from him, man. Not only from on the court basic stuff and advanced stuff too, but also just mental toughness and all that sort of stuff. Because it wasn't as if he didn't know where I was going through, because he understood what I was going through with his ACL reconstruction too. And
you were pretty much on a pretty similar timeline as well, weren't you?
Very similar timeline. So, you know, he was a blessing too. And then, you know, through that, I started making new friends through basketball. Over there, the pickup scene's amazing.
Nice.
So you have a lot of friends over there that will come over there and just go to random courts, or there's certain rec centers that have courts booked out for pickup. So yeah, so that was a blessing, meeting up with those two, with Andy and JK. And then after a couple months and started getting to the NBL 1 season, Jeremy Kendall got offered the head coaching role for the Southwest Metro Pirates.
Nice.
So I was talking with him about, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know that he was a coach either. So I remember messaging him, I was like, hey man, I just want to know, where do you think I should go? Where do you think I should play? And you know, he told me to come down and try out for him. And so I did, and that was really good. So I started going through the tryout process with them, and it was looking really good. And then I tweaked my knee really, really badly, not at training, but at the gym.
Okay.
And so that really...
The recovering knee, or
the recovering knee? It wasn't that I did anything bad to it. It was just that I landed on it wrong, and my confidence shook a little bit.
Yeah.
So I remember messaging him. I gave him a phone call, and I was like, hey man, I think I'm going to pull out. I'm going to like just, you know, make sure that I look after myself, because I want to look at the longevity sort of side of things. Yeah. And he completely understood it, and he understood, and he really respected that of me.
Nice.
So, you know, during that period of time, Emily became pregnant. So I thought to myself, you know what, I might as well, you know, just really focus on making sure that Emily's good and my body's good. So we went through that process, which was a trial in itself. But she was amazing. You know,
yeah.
Emily was amazing. And then Skylar was born. And, you know, Jeremy Kendall, he was messaging me the whole time, you know, making sure that baby girl was good,
oh,
and
nice.
we were good. And we started talking again, and then he said, you know, we got a spot at a QSL team if you want to come play. And I thought, you know what, I'm keen. I'm definitely keen. And he told me that the first game was in a week's time. So that was
There's your pre-season.
That was
you got
my pre-season all there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it was in Toowoomba. So Toowoomba's about a 2.5 hour drive away from Brisbane. So it was a big road trip with a baby girl.
Oh yeah.
But I can't express how grateful I am for him. And I met the other coach, Michael Lakey, he's my man too. So JK and Lakey really helped me out, you know, really made me feel welcome there at the Pirates. So yeah, no, it was good.
That's awesome. And how did that, so did you get a full season in, or did it get cut short?
got a full season in. So they changed it over to making it sort of more condensed.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more double headers. So it was good. My first outing wasn't that nice. I can definitely say that. I think I went 0 of 12 in the first half.
Stunk it up.
Stunk it up, man. But Lakey, he was really supportive of me. He was like, you know, you got to go out there and you got to shoot the ball, be confident with yourself, be the man that you know you are.
Yeah.
So I think I still didn't end up shooting that well at the end of the game. I think I only had a couple points. And then we had a double header that week. So the next day we versed Moreton Bay at home. So the same thing happened again, you know, when I think I went 0 of 12 in the first half again. We get into the locker room at halftime, and my teammates were still supportive of me, and they sort of knew that I was going through a bit of a rough patch. And, you know, Lakey was still, you know, he was my number one fan. He was like, you know, make sure that you keep shooting your shots, you know, get them in, don't worry about it. You know, one will go and then everything else will start flowing for you.
Yep.
And it was good, you know, and that's when I started really getting my confidence up. And I think I ended up having 25 or so in the third or fourth quarter.
Nice.
We ended up getting the win too, which was really, really nice. So from there on, you know, Lakey was sort of like he really helped me with my confidence over there, especially coming over there, because you sort of don't want to tread on toes when you go over to new teams.
Yeah.
You kind of want to make sure that everyone sort of, you know, gets theirs, but also you want to make sure that you have a good team morale and that.
Yeah, you got to work out what your role is on that team.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Well, if the ball's not going to be in my hands that much, okay, cool. Well, I'm a shooter anyway. So
yeah.
Where am I getting my off-ball screens from? Where am I cutting angles? Where's all of this within the team's offense? And then you're able to start putting up those 20, 30-point games.
Yeah, I learned very quickly that my role on the team was to shoot. So, you know, if
Nice.
coach gives me the green light, I'm gonna shoot it.
Hell yeah.
I'll shoot it. So it's good, man. Can't complain.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. So where are you? So are you going back to there next year, or what's the plan for next season?
Yeah, I'd love to go back to the Pirates if they want me. You know, It just all depends really on how everything goes. I got a beautiful baby girl that's 5.5 months old.
Got to work that out too.
I got to work that out too, because you know, at the end of the day, basketball, you know, isn't going to always be there for me. But my baby girl's going to be there for me, and so is my wife. You know, I owe it to both Emily and to Skylar to be there for them both. And you know, I gotta, you know, really give Emily a shout out too, because you know, she came from being someone that never liked basketball. You know, she was a touch rugby player, so she loved rugby.
She loved rugby,
but she had to learn to love basketball. That's
Basketball's
for sure.
a bit soft then.
Touch
rugby,
touch rugby, yeah, nah. So no, she was always there with me. You know, through the good and the bad, through the tough, through the rehab. You know, there were many times where I just couldn't, you know, get up to walk to the toilet, you know, and she was the first one there to help me up.
Nice.
So, you know, Emily's been there for me since day one. And, you know, she's going through a patch in her life being a mom now, so I just got to make sure that I'm there with her now and sort of repay the debt.
Yeah, man, I'm literally a year ahead of you.
Yeah, I know,
literally a year ahead of you with that side of it. But something I've also come to realise over this last year on that is you also owe it to them to, if you have those opportunities, make the most of those opportunities.
Definitely, yeah.
So the biggest thing now is you can't just go down to the gym and waste 3-4 hours down there just getting up some shots and getting a bit of lifting. You got, all right, I need you back here in 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I got to go get a lift in, give me an hour, and then I got to be efficient with my shooting workout or my skills workout, and then I got to get home and be dad time.
Yeah, and it's not just being there, it's also being present.
Yeah, you got to be there and actually be there, not just be a body in the room.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to admit that I was kind of like that the first month or so, but you know, there's nothing that I won't do for both of them.
Hell yeah, man. That first month's tough, man.
It is tough.
Besides giving little one cuddles, there's not a great deal you can be doing, like that father time can't.
Yeah, man.
Well, as she starts moving more, bro, trust me, that father time comes.
Yeah, no. Emily, man, she's gone through a lot of tough things, you know, the feeding, just keeping her awake, you know, just, I don't know how she did it, you know.
It's an incredible journey, hey?
Oh, man, she's definitely stronger than me, that's for sure. And I'll give that to her every day of the week.
Yeah, man. It's tough to do all of this without having that queen in your back pot.
Definitely. But, you know, in regards to basketball, you know, I want to keep going with it. I still feel like I have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
I just don't know where my end goal, where I'm going to be right now.
Yeah,
so I think in the next couple of weeks, definitely going back to Brisbane next week. I'll be definitely talking with a lot of teams over there.
When's the season start?
I think the season starts in March.
In March, okay.
So around the same time that the NBL one starts over here, because they're trying to sort of coordinate it.
Sync it all up.
Yeah. I would love to go back to the Pirates. Don't get me wrong. I think that's where my heart is, right there over in Brisbane, is with them. But I just don't know yet.
See what opportunities.
See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, for real, man. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Whoa, we've been going for ages. It's all good. We need to go get on the court.
Yeah.
We're going to get a good shooting workout in today.
Sweet.
And then we've 3-on-3 open run tonight. It's going to be sick.
That'll be fun.
We guys got some good ballers coming down.
That'll be good.
Had to make sure some good players came through while you're in town.
Oh, man. I appreciate that.
All right. Appreciate your time, brother.
No, you're good, man.
Thank you very much. All right, guys. That's a wrap. Theron Pinker. Keep an eye out for him. Keep an eye out for the mixtapes. We're good. Coach out.